Okay, guys, today on the episode, I interviewed one of my TAs for my sustainability class, and this is a graduate student. He's getting his PhD in sustainable and renewable energy, I believe. And we had some lot less serious than last week. We had some nice conversations about why he's involved in sustainability and what's led him to it, sort of kind of what's led me to it as well. And so, all in all, I think it was a good show. Like I said, if you guys have any inquiries or questions about it, you can contact the KXUA station. Listen to 88.3 FM. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is episode 3 of A Natural State of Things. Welcome to A Natural State of Things. This is a podcast about sustainability in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm your host, Paxton Dodd, and it's presented by KXUA 88.3 Fayetteville. All right, guys, welcome to episode 3 of A Natural State of Things. Today I'm here with
Richie Donahue.
And go ahead, Richie, introduce yourself and what is it you do, or why are you involved?
Well, I guess there's a lot of different ways I could approach this. From here, though, I'm actually a graduate student finishing my doctorate on environmental dynamics. I study climate change and its relations basically to drought and environmental policy.
Okay, cool. So what made you want to get involved in sustainability?
Well, it's actually been an interesting series of events. When I came here, was a lot more on the science side of things, if that makes sense, less of the humanitarian aspect of it. And my advisor when I first got here was actually a former director of the program. Mm-hmm. And he actually put me here, and since then he's actually changed, but I actually enjoy it here, so they kept me around.
Okay, cool. So basically what I wanted to ask, what we talk about is, in terms of Northwest Arkansas, from your experience and what it is you do, which we'll talk about,
okay.
What would you say is something that you contribute, or the people in... Basically, I want you to talk about what you do at the university and why you think that contributes to helping sustainability.
Okay, what I do personally and what the program does are a little different things. I myself am trying to approach this from a policy perspective. Mm-hmm. This probably doesn't seem like the most direct avenue, but from what I've gathered, you can do 100 different marches and strikes, and the bottom line is, in my opinion, until there's a governmental change or a policy change, that there's really, these things aren't going to happen.
Okay.
We've been having these protests in March. Earth Day's, this weekend?
Earth Day is today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 22nd, I think, technically.
Okay.
But we've been having these for, our entire lives.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't seem like we've made these huge strides that we need to make.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that is just due to policy issues we've had.
No.
That's the way I'm personally approaching
I agree. So do you study policy at the university then?
I actually met a professor here, and anybody that's listening to this I would highly recommend. I'm biased. I think she's amazing. And it's Professor Sarah Gossman at the Law College. Mm-hmm. And I'll be the first to tell you right now, from a science perspective, law is a million times different. It's a different language. But she was able to relate it to me and show me how I could basically take the science side of this and approach it and basically implement them into policies and changes.
Okay, cool. So what is it you want to do? Are you getting a doctorate degree right now?
Yes.
Okay, so once you get the degree, what's sort of the next step, and what is the university sort of prepared you to do, or what you want to do?
So without diving into our current political spectrum right now.
Of course. Keep it unbiased. At least.
I try my best to, because I think there's good people on both sides. I want to clarify that now.
Yeah, I agree.
I unfortunately am graduating in the worst time I can think of with environmental policy.
Yeah.
I absolutely missed that one.
Would you like to give the statistic you gave? He's one of my TAs, by the way. Would you like to give the statistic you gave to our class about the amount of EPA workers, or what was it? There's 0 or something?
The amount of environmental, basically national regulations we have on climate change and CO2 is 0.
Okay, sounds good.
Absolutely terrible.
Perfect. There we go.
When we were making strides with the Paris Agreement, which is a baby step, but even then now we're backing out of that. So I'll probably end up doing something that makes no sense at all for another few years before I can get into this.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
But no, I'll probably end up working on the state level. I was hoping to do federal, and realistically with state, you're going to have to do the West Coast. They seem to be the most adapted to this.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
So that's probably where I'll end up, is California, Oregon, Washington, somewhere there.
Okay, so do you have any... Okay, so you've been on campus for how long?
Oh, gosh. Technically, this is my fourth, so I guess 3.6 years.
Okay. Did you go to a different college before this?
I did my master's in emergency management and homeland security at Arkansas Tech.
Okay. So since coming to so you've been in Arkansas then for a while.
Yeah.
So since coming here, you've probably been engaged and met a bunch of people in this field, right? I assume.
I have met a few, yes.
Okay. So, what would you say? The way to word this. What would you say, like, in the University of Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas specifically, what is kind of the general, I'd say, feeling of, like, people in this field, in this area? Because I feel like sometimes it seems super progressive, but other times it also seems super hard and, like, stuff like that.
I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers on this
one. Hey, man, let's do it. Let's ruffle all those feathers.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of great ideas, first of all.
Okay.
And I think a lot of those ideas aren't happening anywhere else.
Okay.
So that needs to be thrown out there right now. However, I think when it actually comes to taking these steps towards these actions, that's getting very, very slowed down and bogged down.
Okay.
Like, I'll hear all these great talks and these great presentations and great ideas, and I'm like, man, this should happen. And then when you actually wait to see these things come out, it's just...
Like red tape and stuff like that?
No, a lot of it is funding.
Yeah,
you're
100%
funding?
On that. Okay, yeah.
I understand people are afraid of change, and a lot of these are changes.
Yeah.
But I mean, just little things like so many minute things like solar cells, for example. So simple.
Yeah.
But
no,
yet,
for sure.
Where are they?
Yeah.
Our campus is supposed to be green completely by 2020. I think they had an initiative for that a few years ago, and unless something changes, I don't know how they're going to hit that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one either. Okay, so is there any like positives in that field then for the University of Arkansas?
Yeah. First of all, like little things that you don't think about, like our bike trail, for example.
Okay.
There's lots of different things that aren't directly thought of as sustainable or climate change related, but they take away different fields of it. Because I mean, like people bike, like I walk to school.
Yeah.
Right. Or sometimes, like if it's raining, I'll catch a bus.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I live also close proximity, so that helps. But like had that trail not been here, I would be driving almost every day.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, like, there's little things like that you don't think about, and those things do add up greatly. And that's, like, the quickest example I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so I have another question for you.
Sure.
I ask everybody on here.
Okay.
Why don't you tell the Hawaii story that you told them in our class about, like, what made you interested in getting into, like, the environment in and of itself?
Okay, yeah. I guess we got a few minutes.
Yeah.
So... back during when I was doing my undergrad, I was not as forward thinking as you are.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was listening. I played Xbox, and
all right.
The last thing on my mind was the environment.
Okay,
it really was. And I had a girlfriend at the time. She was amazing, and we went to Hilo, Hawaii for a spring break. Awesome spring break.
Sounds sick.
It was really nice. She told me, she's like, why don't you pick where we're going? I was like, all right, done. Right?
Did you have to pay for it?
Yeah, I did end up paying for it. No, we split it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
It was good. But, like, she was expecting, maybe a little trip to California or something. Now, like, book your plane ticket, we're going.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, that caught us off guard because we weren't exactly, making the money.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, but we did it. So we're out in it. I believe it was our first night there. And we're walking along, I actually recall the street is Kamehameha Street, and there's actually this restaurant.
Wait, the street's called Kamehameha Street?
Yeah, that's how I
remember. From Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, I can't. Okay. If you look at it, I may be mispronouncing it.
Okay, no, I'll believe you.
That's right. But I mean, like, if you basically leave the airport and make a hard right and ride that all the way to the beach, there's this long road that drives along the island front, basically. And that's the street.
Okay.
And anyhow, there's this white building there, and I'm allergic to seafood, but she wanted to get seafood. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And, nothing like going to Hawaii and eating chicken.
Yeah, there we go.
So we go there, and we're eating, everything's fine. We went there during the dusk time, right? So when we get out, it's a little later, and the stars are just starting to come out, and it was amazing. So as we're walking out, I had those shoes from about 10 years ago that were really cool, and then I got them 5 years later because they weren't as cool. But the 5-finger shoes things, right?
The toe shoes. The feet shoes, the skeleton shoes?
Yeah, for the record, those things are really comfy.
Okay, fair. I'm not going to lie, I tried them on.
Okay,
they're not bad. They're not
when you see them, they're goofy, but they're really comfy. Anyhow, so I had gotten some sand in them, and I leaned down to kick these things out, and she's talking, and I'll be honest with you, I don't recall what it was. I'm a terrible boyfriend, obviously, I didn't listen. I admit my faults. But anyway, she kept talking as I'm emptying my shoe out. I look up to respond to her.
Yeah.
And I see the stars like I've never seen them before. And I can't relate this in obviously this radio or a podcast.
Yeah.
But the way I try to describe it to people is imagine describing the Sistine Chapel, right? All of its paintings, its intricacies, its beautiful art to somebody that's like visually impaired or blind, right? Like you can't do that.
Yeah,
like
sure.
That's too much. So for me, like it was probably only 5 seconds, but it felt like 5,000 years I was just there. Like,
Really?
it was just breathtaking. And finally, she got my attention back. And she's like, "Hey, are you even listening?" And I pointed up to her and I said, "Wow, look at this." And she looks up, and she looks back down at me and she goes, "Neat." And
That's it?
That was it. That was her only word.
Her only visceral reaction.
And I mean, if we're gonna be honest, that was her code word that she would say to people that she wasn't interested in, like the
Okay.
conversation. Like I knew that we'd established that years in advance. So when she told this to me, I was like, "Oh, great."
So did that relationship?
That
end
relationship,
up-
I knew right then it was dead.
Oh, okay, that's
And,
fair. But you were already in Hawaii, might as
Yeah,
well.
the rest of the week was great. Like I had a blast. I went on these high, excited everything. It was amazing. We broke up 2 months later.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Most people go to Hawaii to get married or to have all these great times, and we went, and I was like, "Nope, this is over."
Yeah.
And it
But
worked.
you began a new relationship
I
with the
did.
environment.
Ah, wow, you're making that sound a lot better than what it was. Yeah. She began the new relationship.
Right.
I kind of just fell into the environment.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, it worked out. Both parties, I think, came out ahead. So, or at least I did. I assume she did. I
Okay.
have no idea.
All right, so that's really cool. I have a very similar way that I got interested into the environment.
Does it involve toe shoes?
It does not involve toe shoes, unfortunately. But
dang, okay.
one day, it was over when I was a senior, so last year, only a
Okay.
freshman.
All right.
I was just I like decided last year of all years to start getting into like reading the news and things like that.
You picked a good year. A lot of news.
A lot of news,
Lot
you
of-
know, a lot of news for sure. And so I was like, man, this is sad. And so I just basically stopped reading the news and I just started going outdoors all the time and like hiking, you know, because we live in a really like pretty area.
It is gorgeous up here.
And so I just one time I was looking at this like little stream and this trail in Eureka
Which,
Springs.
Okay, Eureka, okay.
Yeah, and I just saw this like plastic bag floating through the stream, and I was like, "Man, that's whack." And so then from then on, I was like, "I don't want to see that anymore." And so
Okay,
that's my
all right.
story. Okay, so wrapping.
You might want to add
Yeah.
some more magical parts to that. Like I'm confident you're a better storyteller than that.
Yeah, you're right.
You might
You're
wanna
right.
work on
Maybe
that.
I'll embellish a little bit next
No,
time.
never
Yeah.
embellish, because that'll come back to haunt you.
Okay.
But like try to add some visual.
Okay,
aspects
yeah,
of
some
it.
description.
Yeah, like what kind of bag? Give
Okay.
a little details.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so wrapping up here, my last thing I wanted to ask you is,
Sure.
a lot of people. I ask this to everybody that comes in.
Okay.
Because I think it's important. A lot of people, for one reason or another, just don't seem super supportive or passionate about this issue, even though it like in a lot of ways is the most pressing issue, because it's where we live.
And
You
you're
know what I'm
talking
saying?
about sustainability.
Just
right now.
sustainability, climate change in general.
Okay, gotcha.
So, could you eliminate some common misconceptions that you hear all the time about reasons why people may not be super supportive of how you say environmental policy
Okay.
or things like that?
Yeah. So I think the biggest one for me is I look at this from a global perspective and a federal perspective. So I'm trying to narrow this down some. But I think right now our infrastructure is based obviously on oil. CO2 is a massive thing of it. Well, my thoughts are, assuming we continue the way we're going right now, we're going to run out
Yeah.
of coal and oil. Like that's actually factually going to happen. I believe
Yeah.
the National Academy of Sciences released a publication that I can't be for certain on this, but there was one I read a little bit ago. It says we're going to run out in within 40 and 50 years.
Yeah, okay.
So the thought is, like, even if you don't agree with it, right? Even if you say it's trash or whatever, right? That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. That's not this argument. This argument's saying that like, if we continue the way we're going, we're going to be out.
Yeah.
We're hosed.
Yeah, for sure.
So my thought is, like, even if you don't agree with it, right? And that's fine. You can choose not to get your energy from the sun. That's fine. Everybody has their own opinions. But, like, if you continue the way you're going right now and we continue the way we're going, within our children's lifetime, they won't have power.
Yeah.
So we have to change. So it's not a matter of like environmental related, like, for example, I deal with endangered species, right? So like, I'm not going to approach this subject and say like, well, we need to protect these minnows and all of this. Like, I'm saying like, if you continue the way you're going right now, you can't continue it for your children's lifetime. And I believe that you 100% should want to give a better world to your children and your grandchildren than the one you inherited. Mm-hmm. And I feel like unless we change that, we're not only giving them a worse world, but we're also giving them the world that they couldn't even sustain.
Yeah, they don't even have the opportunity
No, they
to
don't.
try.
And I
Yeah.
mean, like, in theory, because America's a very well-developed country, I mean, we could probably be one of the last few countries that extended it. But, I mean, a lot of these places where we get our goods and our travels, et cetera, our benefits from having trade with all these countries would deteriorate so rapidly if they don't have the infrastructure there. So I think it's a matter of time that you just have to.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for you, man. Thanks for coming in. Once again, do you want to say who you are really quickly? Say goodbye.
I mean, sure, if anybody ever wants to hunt me down and, find me in a parking lot somewhere. My name's Richie Donahue. I guess I'll soon get to put that doctor title on there.
There we go, Dr. Donahue.
Man, I don't even know about that.
There we go.
That makes me feel old.
You look fun.
I'll be $1.3 billion at that point. Man.
All right, and I'm Paxton, and thanks for listening, guys, to Naturally Say Things. Catch me every other week, Monday 3 to 4. Thank you.